For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, we are live and amplified. So let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. It's 11 hours at this point, but we're going strong. So
nice.
how's everything going on your end?
It's going good. Making the full-time move to Nashville. So been packing boxes all day.
Nice. When do you officially move?
So I officially moved December 6th. We're driving from California. So
okay. You're not gonna fly? You're not gonna fly yourself down?
No, I have a truck and we're taking a U-Haul and throwing a bunch of stuch in and going.
Gotcha. That'll be fun though. That'll be like moving to Nashville is got to be a lot of fun for you because it's obviously the country music capital, or just like even the music capital. Like limiting it to just country music is kind of a slap in the face to Nashville, but so that's got to be really exciting. And how long has this been in the works for you?
So I moved back. So I was living in Nashville in 2020. I moved back because of COVID and everything shutting down. Yeah. So it's kind of been the past year, like this back and forth. And I think I just finally decided, you know what, I'm doing it. I'm taking a leap and just moving back, going for it.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha. Yeah. So I know the last time we had talked, I don't think the discussion was you were getting ready to move to Nashville, or that wasn't even on the top of your thought process yet. But then again, I don't remember how long ago it was that we talked. So who knows? It's one of those things where 2021 has flown by so quickly. It's insane. Yeah. So, but yeah. First off, I want to thank you so much for jumping on. I'm really excited to sit down and chat with you a little bit and find out what's been going on. Obviously, the big move to Nashville is a very big thing. But outside of that, what's been going on with the music? How's your music going? All that fun stuff.
It's going good. We released an EP back in August called Where I Run, and that's just kind of basically became kind of a collection of all the singles we've done since the end of 2019. COVID kind of threw a wrench in our release plan. So we decided, hey, let's kind of give a spotlight on each single and then release it as a collection. So we did that in 2020. So that's been good, getting back to live shows finally. So just mainly in California and Nashville. So it's been good. Nice.
Yeah, because I think you were promoting one of the singles the last time you were on. So that might have been either end of last year or beginning of this year. I'm still trying to figure that out, but we'll get to the bottom of it. Anyways, so no, that's really awesome. And so you released the album in August. What's the reception been of it so far?
It's been good. I have people come into me for each song, like, for example, Didn't Even Get a Goodbye. That one is, about not being able to say goodbye to someone, not getting the chance to. And I've had people say, it reminds me of a family member or friend or something like that. So it's always cool to see like people relate to the songs and take them more personally than I even really intended when writing them.
Absolutely. It's like bringing up that song specifically is the perfect segue into the reason why we're here, which is to raise awareness for pancreatic cancer research, raise awareness and funding for it to benefit PanCan and all the research and clinical trials that they support. And, there's a lot of situations where people don't get to say goodbye when they get diagnosed with pancreatic cancer because it happens so quickly. So which kind of brings up the next question of, have you had any experiences or lost any family members from pancreatic cancer or just cancer in general?
Not direct family members. Both my grandmother and my mom had breast cancer, and thank goodness they're okay. And, they get checked yearly for it. But that was a little bit of a scare with my mom, especially because, she's in my life all the time. So
Oh, that's, well, I mean, good that they were getting, they got checked out and, you know, everything's good. Um, so that's good. And the fact that there are a lot of cancers out there that people are able to come back from and have full recoveries because they catch it early, or, you know, whatever the circumstances may be, is great. So I think that's kind of why I decided to do this fundraiser, because, you know, pancreatic cancer is such an unknown, and like they say it's really rare, but the survivability of it is just so low. Like right now it's at 10%. So it's like, yeah, it's really bad. And I think in 1999, when right as PanCan first formed and became a thing, the survivability rate was like 4%.
Oh, wow.
So like,
So they definitely made progress.
yeah, there's progress, but when you think about it, 6% over 20 some odd years, it's like, you know, one of those things. But
yeah, it's scary how it can come up so quickly and progress, you know, so quickly in some people. Yeah,
for sure. You know, but I was glad to be able to be there for my mom. I got the chance to say goodbye, so that was my big concern from the beginning, was not being able to say goodbye. So I got to say it. I mean, I'm not happy about it, but I can at least sleep at night now knowing. So
yeah.
But anyways, so I don't like to spend the entire time talking about just pancreatic cancer, but since is the reason why we're here, I do like to touch on it and make sure people understand that they need to get themselves checked. And although there's not very many symptoms that are known, you know, just kind of being on the lookout and stuff. So I appreciate you jumping on here and chatting with me a little bit. I'm
honored to be on here.
Yeah. I'm glad that you said yes. Like, you know, it's that weird thing. I told somebody earlier, if this wasn't for my mom, I would have probably given up on this about 2 weeks ago. Cause as of Tuesday, I think I only had like 15% of the musicians confirmed for this thing. And I'm like, we're like less than 3 days away. And I don't know if I have enough musicians to even do a day, let alone, you know, 3 days. So
yeah, and musicians are flaky. I know that firsthand.
You know, I wasn't going to say flaky, but like, I just like things come up and I completely understand that. But it's like, hey, just tell me if you're going to be here. Yes or no. That's all I need to know. Yeah. If you're not, that's fine. I understand. But yeah, so it is what it is. But so kind of moving forward with your music, you're obviously making the transition to Nashville, and that's been in the works for a while, but you also were there prior to COVID. What's the plan once you get to Nashville?
So I'm going with my boyfriend, who I've been seeing for over a year now. So we're moving into an apartment there. And the plan is basically play as much as I can in songwriter rounds, meet as many people as I can, and do co-writes, and just kind of, learn from the people who have been there, the people who have been doing it. And we're also planning to go into the studio again and record new music in the first quarter of the year, and kind of start the cycle again with the releases and the live shows.
It should be fun. Are you doing any live shows now? Well, I mean, obviously not now because you're getting ready to move, but had you been doing live shows over the last few months?
Yeah, it's picked up quite a bit. And actually I'm moving in only a couple of weeks, but I'm actually out of town this upcoming week, and then a couple of weeks later for shows in Northern and Central California. Kind of shoving a bunch of stuff into the time period, but it's okay. It's all good.
Hey, got to get the shows while you can, especially when you haven't been able to play for, we'll call it a year, because but you know, it's awesome that you're able to pick up shows and willing to travel and all that stuff. You're in Southern California right now? That's? Yeah,
so I'm part-time in Southern, part-time in Central. Now it's been pretty full-time Southern California.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. I knew you were in California. I just couldn't remember where in California, because I knew the last time we talked that it had changed, or you were kind of bouncing back and forth from a couple different places. So no, that's really awesome. And then
Thanks.
Nashville will be a nice change. I often dream about the time that I should move to Nashville, but
Mhm.
I just don't want to deal with the snow. Like that's my
Yeah.
big. I just don't want to deal with it. But then again, I moved to Waco thinking I wouldn't have to deal with it, and this year, February, we
yep.
got annihilated. So
Yeah, I know. I think my biggest fear, I think with the snow, I did a semester. I studied at Berklee College of Music for a semester in Boston. So I remember pulling on snow boots and like trudging through the snow to class. But I think I'm good with that. I think my biggest fear is driving in it and trying to get around in it.
Yeah, like drive. If it's not hard to learn how to drive in the snow, the big concern is, especially in a place like Nashville, is not a lot of people know how to drive in the snow.
Uh-huh.
And so that's always my concern, like especially around here, nobody knows how to drive in the snow. And not saying I'm like the best driver in the snow, but I at least trust myself out there. Like whereas a lot of people, like during the snowstorm last year, I live down in the bottom of, like, my apartment complex was built on a hill. And so I live on the backside of the hill down like near a dry riverbed. And so you have to go up a steep incline, like driveway to get out of the apartment complex. So many people during this snowstorm tried to drive out and couldn't make it. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was bad. It was very, very bad. So, there was so many parked cars on the side of the road because they got stuck and couldn't do anything. So
yeah, I think it's like Californians and rain. I see that here all the time.
Yeah, pretty much. I imagine it's got to be pretty bad with the rain and just the inclement weather all around in LA. So
Yep.
but Nashville is definitely a place that I've looked at moving to. So I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll suck it up and just be like, nope, you got to go deal with the snow. But for now, I'm happy where I'm at. So
Yeah.
what's one thing that you miss about Nashville that you haven't thought about or haven't been able to get out in California?
I think the biggest thing is I've been doing like the LA shows and that kind of stuff, but typically that's like, okay, I get up on stage with my band and I love them, they're awesome, but I don't really get to share the stage with other artists singing their songs. So usually I'll try to like stick around for the first act or the act after me so I can kind of hear. But what's cool about Nashville is you do get the writers' rounds and you can kind of go and hear everybody's stories behind the songs as well, rather than just kind of getting up and performing. You get to hear like behind the scenes and be up there with the energy. It's a really cool thing that you don't really get here in LA, only in a couple places.
Absolutely. And that's as big, and I don't want to say as insider as it is out in Nashville. There's still like, especially once you find your community or your tribe or however you want to describe it, Nashville, it's definitely very creator oriented and very supportive of one another, at least on the indie level. And the one thing that I really enjoyed about Nashville is you just never know who you're going to run into. Like that's always the fun part. Like depending on where you're at, you never know who you're going to run into. So I was when we were recording Where I Run EP, we were sitting in the studio and this guy comes in and starts talking to Nathan, my producer, and ends up I think he's the son or grandson of the person who wrote Don't It Make Your Brown Eyes Blue by Crystal Gale. And I was like, oh, that's super cool to kind of see like a descendant, of such a good song. So yeah, for sure. No, that's really cool. And you just never know who not that you don't know who anybody is, but you never know who anybody could be. So that's really cool and awesome. So Yeah. So Nashville, you're moving there beginning of December, right after, like you said, December 6th, right?
Yeah, December 6th.
Okay, awesome. And do you have any shows already planned for Nashville, or is that not something that you're worried about at this point?
So right now we're just trying to kind of get settled in to the apartment and then also deal with like Christmas and the holidays because we're
Yeah.
probably gonna have that out there. But I think the plan right now, I've been doing a lot with, or I've been doing shows every time I've visited over the past year with National Tour Stop. And they do shows at like Cabana Taps and Belcourt Taps. So kind of getting into like their community and possibly setting up more of those once I get out there.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. And I'm assuming you'll be coming back to Southern California quite frequently because that's where your family's at, right?
Yep. Yeah. My parents, my sister, everyone I love is here. So it makes it tough to leave, but I know it's going to be good in the long run.
Yeah. And well, I don't think we talked about this on the last podcast, but why Nashville? Would you ever consider like Austin, or was it always just Nashville?
So it's funny. So over the past year, I've been kind of wavering. It's always been Nashville. Nashville's always had my heart and soul. I really can't put my finger on it, but I think it's the songwriting aspect of it. Yeah. But I drove through Austin. Actually, I flew out to Nashville and drove back. Mm-hmm. I think it was over the summer sometime. And so we drove through Austin, didn't really get to spend a lot of time there, but I don't know. I think I like the seasons of Tennessee. Mm-hmm. I think I like the community of Nashville. And I know people in Austin who absolutely love it. So maybe someday I'll give it a try when because I get bored pretty easily.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Understood. And then as far as the band goes, the bands, are they all based out of Southern California, or are they in Nashville, or where are they kind of at? Yeah,
so they're all in Southern California. My guitarist actually used to live in Nashville, and now he's here in LA. So it'll be tough. They're really not only good musicians, but good people. So it'll be tough to not see them all the time.
I'm sure they aren't against a reason to go to Nashville from time to time.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool place to be.
Yeah, for sure. So let's take a minute and talk about the your EP that you dropped earlier this year. Well, Where I Run, that's the name of it, correct?
Yeah, Where I Run.
And that was kind of the compilation of everything, all the singles that you had released. We'll say during the pandemic, just for the sake of the argument. What were you originally before the pandemic? Were you originally planning on releasing just the EP without the singles, or what was the original idea before the pandemic kind of does what a pandemic does?
Yeah, so we released Just a Dance at the end of 2019 with the music video. That was going to be a single, and then we were going to do a follow-up single with Sunday Driver, which was the video with all the car. We did 100 years of cars in this video. And then we were going to go right after Sunday Driver into the full EP release. So that was the top of 2020. And then everything kind of hit when we were kind of in the midst of getting ready to release the EP. So we decided let's release another single, kind of see how the landscape of the music industry looks. And then it was just, let's just keep releasing single after single to kind of stay relevant with everything. And then I was like, all right, we're just gonna call it a collection when we release the EP. So that way it's it was nice. It gave every song its own spotlight. So it kind of ended up working out in the long run. Yeah, for sure. So I just confirmed with my information. The last time we had you on the podcast was March. So I think maybe you would just release Bradley. Does that sound about right? Bradley was the top of this year. Yeah.
So you came on probably right around the same time my mom got diagnosed. So yeah, that's.
Sorry for your loss.
Yeah, it's, not that, that's been the weird part about this whole thing. 'Cause it's just like, I'm trying to keep it positive and upbeat and turn something that was very negative into a positive thing. But just as you're like sitting here reflecting on the whole thing, it's like, dang it. Okay. But
Yeah.
I'm happy to try my best to turn such a negative situation into a positive. So once again, I'll take the opportunity to remind everybody, make sure you're taking care of yourself, getting yourself checked, all that good stuff, because you don't want to end up with a situation that you cannot fix. So, it's just one of those things. But so Where I Run, it's out now. When did you release it again?
We released it August. I think it was end of August.
End of August. Okay, so it's been out for a little bit, and it's being received well. All that fun stuff. You released a couple of music videos as well, correct?
Yeah, we released
all the singles, or just some of them.
So we released one for Just Dance, Sunday Driver, Bradley, and we did kind of it was for the Didn't Even Get a Goodbye acoustic version. It was more home videos. So yeah, we did pretty much a music video for almost every single.
Gotcha. Because I remember seeing one where you were out on the ranch, right? Would that have been Bradley?
Yep, that was Bradley.
That would have been Bradley. Okay. Because as we're sitting here talking, it's all starting to come back, and I'm like, yep, saw a music video. It was on the ranch, but I don't remember exactly which music video it was for. But no, I did enjoy it, and so yeah, Do you have any plans of any more music videos you're working on, or what's kind of the plan in that department?
Yeah, so I just have been kind of working on demos, getting those to like my publicist and producers and stuff, kind of trying to pick and choose what we're going to go in and record. But my sister, she's the brains behind the production operation. She runs Refuse Reality Productions, which is her production company. So she's done all my music videos. She's kind of creates them, directs them. So we've been talking, just kind of bouncing ideas back and forth on just even the rough demos. And she's like, oh, this would be cool for this one and this concept. So we kind of, the gears are turning.
Awesome. That's, it's always fun when the creative process really starts flowing for, and you got a group or a collaborative effort kind of going on. So that's always fun. And especially with it being your own family or your own sister, that's got to make it 10 times more interesting, just because you never know. But
interesting is definitely the word.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I do want to thank you so much for jumping on the podcast. Before we kind of start wrapping this up, everybody that comes on the podcast gets one spin of the random question generator. We have a app here that spits out a random question. So if you are ready, I have your question right here.
Okay, I'm ready.
What is one habit you wish your partner would give up?
Oh boy. And I know he's watching this too. Let's see. Man, if Wyatt, so my boyfriend's name is Wyatt, if he could give up one habit. He's pretty good, actually. We get along really well. I think it would be, I think right now, man, I don't know. You know what? I think I'm gonna throw him under the bus here, and I think spending money on fixing up his car. No, it's cool. It's a 67 Barracuda, but sometimes I know, and it's probably a lot of girls feel the same way, because I know my mom feels the same way about my dad, and it's spending money fixing up a car that it's like, okay, but it's his pride and joy, and it's actually a lot of fun to ride around in. Yeah,
for sure. I completely understood. I didn't mean to start any stink. I should have.
Oh, no worries.
He's going to come in. What's that?
I'll buy him dinner after this.
Gotcha. I was going to say he's going to come kick the door in or something. And
oh,
But anyways, so once again, I want to thank you so much for jumping on. If people want to check out the new album or anything else you got going on, where's the best place for them to do that?
So I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, I think Google Play, or yes, Google Play, YouTube, pretty much everywhere you can get music. I'm there.
Awesome. And social media, all that stuff.
Yep. I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Casey_Ahern, and then Facebook, Casey Ahern Music.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much for jumping on here. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We've got still a lot to cover tonight. A lot of musicians coming up. I'm just looking at my list here like, oh, yeah, we still got a list to go. If you're interested in donating to benefit pancreatic cancer research and help support PanCan, the donation links are in the description below or in the comment thread there. Yeah, there. Or if you're on our social media, we have different donation locations all over Facebook, Instagram, all that fun stuff. So if you're interested in donating, we'd really appreciate it. Other than that, Casey, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Look forward to hearing your new music when you're ready to release it and all that fun stuff. And yeah, I was really excited to see what you do in Nashville. So
Thanks for having me. And it was always a pleasure to see you.
Yep, absolutely. Once again, thank you so much. And we will see you here in a bit. All right. So we're going to come right back. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. I've got to sort out a scheduling snafu here. Give me 1 second, y'all.